bit late, but we are here this Thursday. What is it? The 7th, December 7th. And we're going to be doing a Mexican style cornbread, which is sweet. It isn't similar to what you've seen before in some other videos. This is a recipe from Mexico, so I haven't done it before, and this will be the first time that we attempt. So you guys are going to be witnessing this recipe, whether it's going to work or not. I'm hoping that it does, but we are going to be doing some cornbread. So we're going to wait a bit for more people to join. Hello, Rick. Hello, Cynthia. Good to see you guys. Who else do we have in the chat? Val's Black Cats Rule. Good evening. As I mentioned, we are doing cornbread for tonight. It is a Mexican-style sweet cornbread, which does not use the actual cornmeal that many of you might know, or the corn flour. It will be using corn, actual corn. And we're going to do that recipe today. Hopefully it goes well. I've never done it before. So you guys are going to be witnessing it with me, and hopefully it turns out. Hello, who else is here? Cast Iron Fanatic, hello, welcome. As I mentioned, we're gonna give it about 5 minutes, or less than 5, about 3 minutes, and then we'll get started. Once again, thank you guys for those of you that are here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Rick says, ever had it at... No, I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. El Torito, yeah, no, I didn't know it existed until I saw it, and to be honest, I saw it on, what is it called? Instagram. I saw it on Instagram, and it was a recipe. I'm like, oh, wow, this is, obviously this is different than what I'm used to. And there were the content creator was very specific on saying it is not cornbread. It is actual corn bread, as in like corn, not dried, cornmeal or corn flour. It is, and you bake it into the bread with some flour. So you guys will see what I'm talking about, because right now it just seems weird. But it will be, for those of you that want to follow along, or want to know the recipe, I will list it off. So before we get started, I'll give you guys the ingredients. If you guys have any, you can follow along. But 3 cups of corn, actual corn. And what you can do is you can use fresh, or you can just use a can of corn, which is what I'm going to be doing, because I couldn't find any fresh corn. So I opted the can route. So I'm going to do a can of corn. We're going to do 14 ounces of sweetened and condensed milk, 3 eggs, 1 cup of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 stick of butter, room temp, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and we'll give you, well, I'll give you guys the directions once I start going. But as I mentioned, we'll give it about a minute or so, and then we'll get started. So hopefully everybody's having a lovely day, and we're getting close to the weekend. We're getting really, really close to Christmas, guys. Hopefully you guys are, if you guys are shopping for Christmas, you guys have already knocked it out. Or are you guys one of those that does the late night shopping, or, the day before Christmas shopping? Let me know in the comments. But we're going to be baking today in the stove. I always mess it up. But we're going to be using the this pan once again. We're going to bake it in this, and we're going to stick it in my small little, what is this thing called, Vicky? The oven? Toaster oven? Toaster oven. We're going to use a toaster oven instead of the actual stove. Yeah, so we're going to use an enameled skillet. This is the 10-inch here, and it is pretty deep, so I do like that, and hopefully it turns out pretty well. I'll put it right here so you guys can see that. Let's see. Hello, Dorothy. Good to see you. All right, guys. I know this was a very late notification. I thought, for some reason, I thought that I had already posted that I was going to do something for Thursday. But, you know, obviously, then I checked my YouTube page, and obviously there was nothing there. So, yeah, I'm sorry, guys, for the very late notification, but thank you guys for those that are tuning in. Rick says, hi, Vicky.
Hi. Sorry, I'm eating. Really.
Cast Iron Fanatic says, click, 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 done waiting on done waiting on delivery. Yeah. My wife loves Amazon. She bought most of her gifting and all that stuff from Amazon. All right, guys, so let's get started. Let me go grab some flour, actually. That's the one thing I forgot to grab. All right, guys, so the first thing that we're going to be doing is weighing out the ingredients. And we're going to place them into this little blender that I have over here. So let's get going. Actually, I'll probably put it in this first. And give this a quick rinse. And I like weighing things out. But anyway, we're going to use... So I went to Rayleigh's, Nob Hill, Bel Air, whatever you guys call it. But I got the sweet corn cream style corn. So we're going to be using that. We're going to use 1 can. 1 can roughly has about 3.5 cups. So 1 can is more than enough in my opinion. Because the recipe calls for 3 cups. So we're going to use that. And next we're going to do the condensed milk, which I should have opened it. She used this one here on the video that I saw. You don't have to use this one. This is just something that I picked up because that's what she used. But it is sweetened condensed milk. So that's all you got to know. Alrighty, let's open this thing. Alright. Pour 1 whole can of the sweetened and condensed milk. So already it is different than the traditional cornbread that we know and that I know. I didn't know about this one here. So it is already starting off different. Alright, need a little spatula. Get most of it out. Why not? Also, guys, stay tuned for later tonight. I will be posting some other videos. So, yeah, look forward to that, guys. I'll be posting tonight. I will upload a short, very interesting, and I hope you guys watch the short later tonight. Hello, Handsome Stone. Good to see you. Who else is here? Granny Graham, good to see you. Sorry if I'm moving the camera a bit. All right, guys, so we're gonna blend this and then we're gonna add eggs to this mixture as well, but we're gonna pulse it when we add the eggs. All righty. Now, before I start, I do recommend that you guys turn down your volume in case this is loud. So turn down your volume, guys, in case this is loud, because I'm going to start this. I'm going to shake it, make sure that I get everything in there, because it looks like we still have some corn on the top. Make sure we blend it as much as we can. That looks good to me. Now I gotta get some eggs, so bear with me. Really? Strap. How's the chili? Okay. Okay, guys, so we got some eggs. We're gonna move this to the side for a minute. Gonna open this up and add the eggs. We're gonna need 3 eggs for this recipe. And for those of you that might just be joining, just so you guys know, this is a Mexican style sweet bread, which is made out of corn. So I don't really want to say cornbread because then you might get it confused. It is different than the traditional cornbread that we know here in the US. But we're going to give this a try and see how it turns out. Anyway, we need 3 eggs. So far, we've added 1 can of sweet corn. And also, we added 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. All right. Next, we're going to do 3 eggs. And on this, when we incorporate the eggs, what we're going to do is we're actually just going to pulse. We're not going to blend. I think otherwise it might turn into something else if we do that. And 1 more. We'll do the green one. I call these green eggs, but people call them blue eggs. I don't know. To me, they look green. I don't know. What do you guys think? Green or blue? I know them as green eggs, but people say they're blue. Okay, gotta wash my hands real quick. Get rid of all that raw egg off my hands. Rick, message retracted. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Now we're gonna pulse this about 4 times, according to the recipe. 4 times. Don't blend. Alrighty, so we're gonna pulse. How does that work? Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, hopefully that's enough. So we're following the recipe to a T because, as I mentioned, I've never done this before, so I don't know. We're going to try and follow it as much as we can. All right, so that's the wet ingredients. Next, we're going to need the dry ingredients. So we're going to need flour, all-purpose flour. But I don't have any, so I do have bread flour. I'm going to be using that. Oh, just so you guys know, too, I got this bowl. I got it from Field Company. So real quick, I just want to show you guys this bowl. Made here in the USA. And here we go. It is Martinez Pottery. It's oven safe, microwave safe, dishwasher safe. And it's made here in the USA. I think it's made in Texas. So far, I haven't used it, but this will be the first time that I use it. Kind of excited. Very, very nice. And shoot, I might do some more things. But if you guys are interested in one of these, they're actually fairly priced, fairly inexpensive. You can get them at the Field Company website. So Field Company, if you guys know their cast iron, they like to include a lot of stuff that is handmade and also here made in the U.S. Which this is why I opted to get one of these bowls. But anyway, let's keep going. Whoops. All right, so 1 cup of flour is 120 grams. So we're gonna weigh in 120 grams of flour. And actually what we're gonna do first is we're gonna put in our butter. And I like using Kerrygold. Not sponsored, but Kerrygold has more fat in it. That is why you get the, the darker yellow color on this butter compared to other butters. But if you guys are gonna do any kind of cooking and baking, Kerrygold is the way to go. Make sure that your butter is also room temp. That way you can cream the butter according to her instructions. That's what you should do. So let's move it over here. We're going to cream the butter. And mine didn't have too much time to melt, but I think it's soft enough. It's soft. Softened butter is what she says. Softened butter, and I think it is pretty soft. So just mashing it here. Alrighty. Probably should have used something else, but anyway, I'm gonna try and get as much of it off. That way we have the proper amount of butter. All right, we'll get talking a bit more of the cast iron, but first I want to do the recipe, guys. Hopefully you guys find this entertaining. Let's see, what are you guys talking about real quick? I always had a problem trying to get to that butter. Get me to that butter. Room temp before or after I turn this heat up. Oh, I know, right? It is cold. Oh, we had a storm come in yesterday night. And that's when I tuned in the live for Cast Iron Chaos. And man, I was freezing. It was nice and warm in the day. And it's crazy how when storms come in, the temperature warms up before it gets cold. But I kid you not. I was outside without a jacket, without a sweater, and I was working outside, and 5 minutes, it got pretty crazy. It started getting windy, and then within the 5 minutes of it getting windy, the temperature dropped drastically. At least it felt like that. So I had to run to my truck and get a jacket. But man, all the guys that were working with me too, they ran to go get their stuff as well. It was cold. But anyway, now we need 120 grams of flour, or 1 cup. As I mentioned, I'm going to weigh it out. So, actually, shoot. I almost forgot. This is supposed to be sifted. I almost forgot. Where is my little... Let me look. Oh, there it is. All right. So I have a small little thing here to sift my flour, which I think I didn't forget all the way completely. I don't get the purpose of sifting flour. I'm not a baker, but if you guys know, let me know in the chat. So there's 30 right there. And I'm using bread flour because I didn't have any all-purpose flour, but all-purpose flour is what the recipe recommends. And we got 70. We need a little bit more. We're at 113. Try that. Let's see. 117, 118, 119. I am not going to risk it, and I'm going to just keep it there. Next, what else do we need? Let's see. So we're done with that. Next, we're going to need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Oh shoot, that's baking soda. We need baking powder. Not sponsored, but I mean, come on. Who doesn't use Clabber Girl? This is the best one. Two teaspoons, which is a lot. I don't think I've ever seen a recipe with 2 teaspoons. Alrighty. 2 teaspoons. Don't know if that needed to be sifted, but, well, too late now. Alrighty. What else do we need? Let's see, what's next? Let's see. I think I'm going to mix now. Because after that, it's vanilla and optional cinnamon. Because as I mentioned, this is a sweet cornbread. So yeah, it's not a savory. It's a sweet, but it is a bit different. Anyway, let's incorporate all this stuff together. Oh, come on. Just spilled it all over myself. You know what? I'm going to add the mixture. Because this feels weird. Yeah, it probably does need the mixture. I don't know what I'm doing. Don't do what I do. Do the mixture, guys. Don't mix it dry. Don't know why I'm doing that. All right, so in here, guys, for those that just showed up, once again, we got 3 cups of corn, fresh corn. And no, I'm sorry, this isn't fresh corn. You can do 4 cobs of fresh corn or 1 can of fresh. 1 can of corn, if you want to go that route. So one can of corn. I also did 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and 3 eggs. Anyway, there we go. I don't know why that was so difficult to say. And there we go. Alrighty. Whoops. Next, let's incorporate all this because it looks like a big old mess. Probably should have used a whisk for this, but well, I think this will work. I do like the bowl though, it's very stable, very sturdy. My plastic ones and my glass one is super heavy, and my plastic ones are just too light. And this one is like the Goldilocks, it's perfect weight and makes it sturdy enough that it's not going to be just moving around. This to me looks like a congealed mess. I'll show you guys in a minute. So that's what it looks like. We're going to also add, as I mentioned, a little bit of vanilla and cinnamon. You know what I should have added instead? Or what I should have done? Because I don't know if I like this. I should have actually just melted the butter instead of, having it room temperature or softened. I guess I could use a little mixer to incorporate everything, but let me just hand mix it with the little whisk that I have. Some whiskey business here. Alright. Hopefully I don't leave marks on this, as I just did get this. I don't know if this is like enameled, like, you know, the enamel from cast iron, where if you use metal utensils, you leave those little like pencil or graphite marks on them. I don't know if you guys have noticed that before. But anyway, this is incorporating a lot better, so I do like this. I don't know what I was doing with that spatula. Definitely not doing the work correctly. This, on the other hand, incorporating a whole lot better. Now it is going to be lumpy in a sense because that's the corn in there in the mixture. But let's add our cinnamon and our vanilla. So we're going to be using this one here, which is Madagascar bourbon. So we're going to add a dash of this, and it does say how much? 1 teaspoon, but we're going to just eyeball it. Okay, you can never go wrong with vanilla. I think that's good enough. And optional is the cinnamon, which, who doesn't like cinnamon? I like cinnamon. Since this is, whoa, that's a lot. All right, that's good enough. Since this is a sweet version of cornbread. Did you guys know that cinnamon is actually, what is that word? Oleophobic? Doesn't want to mix with water. So I always found it irritating in a sense. I don't know why. I always found it to be really bad incorporating into any liquids. To me, it's like it just floats to the top. It doesn't want to stay mix. It doesn't mix into the batter correctly ever, in my opinion. But that's just me. Getting most of this mixture on the sides as well. And I think we're ready. I don't recall if she used parchment paper. Do you guys think that I should use a baking spray? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and then if so, I'll bring out the baking spray. Oh, bear with me a minute. I gotta put the egg away. 1 egg that I have. All right, guys, so what do you think? Should I add? Yeah, Cynthia says add a little. Probably should. Oh, man. Yeah, you know what, guys? I'm going to add a tiny bit of cooking spray to the pan. That way it doesn't get stuck onto the pan. We want it to come out nicely. So we're going to add a little bit, and we're going to place it in the oven. Actually, my little toaster oven. So we're going to be using the stove skillet. This is their 10-inch or 26 centimeter. Pretty cool little pan. I like this. I will reiterate once again, guys, $100, $99 right now. This is on sale for $99. If you guys haven't jumped into enameled, I would recommend enameled cast iron. Great piece of cookware. It will last you a lifetime if you take care of the enamel. That's, to say not using any metal utensils. This will last you, like I said, it can last you up to a lifetime just taking care of it. And great quality, made in France. Not sponsored or endorsed, but I mean, I'm a cast iron lover, whether it's seasoned cast iron or enameled cast iron or vintage, whatever it is. I like it all. So anyway, we're going to be using this. We're going to spray it with, for me, I've always found this one to be the best, Pam, because it has the flour. It has flour in it. That's what prevents it from sticking to the pan. And I like the way it smells too. It smells, out of all the sprays, this one smells the best. It smells like a dessert or pastry or something. So I'm going to spray it off camera because I don't want to. I'm gonna spray it over here by my sink. I like how it smells. It smells like pastries or dessert. Anyway, getting high off those fumes, guys. Alrighty, I'm gonna preheat my little toaster oven because that's what I'm gonna be using today. And we'll pour it in there and get this show going. Sorry guys, excuse my mess. I'm gonna move some stuff around. That way you guys don't get to see this nasty mess that I've made over here in my sink. And then once I place that in the toaster oven and bake it, then I'll look into the chat and then we'll get to talking about some things. Alrighty. Try and get most of it out. This looks like it's close to what I saw on the social media post, you know, where I saw the recipe on Instagram. The consistency is matching up, so I'm glad with that. I'm happy with that. Alrighty, and there we are now into the toaster oven. So let me move you guys. Let me put you guys right here for now while I open the door. Forgive the shaky hands. Alrighty. It's a very small toaster oven, but it fits this skillet here. You can fit 10-inch pans in here, and possibly in a 12 or an 11-inch dual handle pan. But this is barely big enough to fit that. See, it fits there perfectly. So we are going to bake. Where is the buttons? So we're gonna bake time. Let's see, we're gonna need about 50 minutes, and we're gonna bake at temperature 350. And there we go. And there we go, guys. And it also has a little light so you guys can see in there, but we're gonna let that bake and wish me luck. Hopefully this works. There's the mess that I made. Sorry guys, I'm gonna put this down a bit, tiny tad. Oh, actually, also what I wanted to show you guys was the chili. So, brought out the Stove Dutch oven, the Supreme version, and or edition, and we made some brisket chili. That's what I showed you guys. I will post a video of this later tonight. Do a little short, but man, it smells so good. My wife already ate. She was waiting for the cornbread, but I told her it was a different kind of cornbread, so she's like, "Well, I'm gonna go ahead and eat then." I said, "Sure enough, that's okay with me. Go ahead and eat." But I'm going to wait for the cornbread. All right, guys. Now I'm gonna set you guys down, and I do want to look at the messages, or I'm sorry, the comments that you guys have made or have been making. Sorry if I'm moving you guys around. And we're gonna bring over some cast iron to talk about. Bear with me, guys. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Had to run out and grab these. Alrighty. That was loud.
I'm cracking the granite.
I'm not gonna break the granite. Alright, guys. Let me move some things around. Make some space. Okay, guys, so we have some griddles here, as you can see. Hopefully you can see. I did a little bit of restoration on this one here. And what I want to talk about is whether this is a Birmingham stove and range or not. And I know Cynthia's pretty well, she knows her stuff when it comes to BSR. So Cynthia, I know you're in the chat. We're going to need your expertise in a minute. Just want to connect my computer because it's about to die. Don't want to end the stream that way. Oh man, we still have 46 minutes for the bread, which sadly I don't think I'm going to be able to showcase on time. So I will post a follow-up or a video tonight with how the bread turns out. Sorry guys. What I should have done was gotten all the ingredients ready and just got it mixed and then baked. That way you guys could have seen it. But all right, guys. So I want to read the chat real quick. Let's see what's going on. Rick says he's so proud. There's the mess I made. Yeah, there's a mess I made. I got some cleaning to do. Handsome Stone says, chili better made in enameled or plain cast iron? I would go both ways with that. It depends on what you're going to be doing. You can do the true recipe of, well, what Texas calls red chili. That's a Texas recipe or a Texas style chili, which doesn't necessarily use beans and there's less acidic ingredients in it. I think it's mostly a chili powdered base with beef broth or beef broth. God, I don't know why that's hard to say. Beef broth. And most of the earlier chilies, from what I know, I'm not an expert to those things, but if you guys know more than I do, chime in. But from what I know, it wasn't so much tomato based. It was more of, you got that red color was from the chili powders that they used, or all the chilies that went into the making of the chili. And they just, mostly used a beef cut, whether it was brisket or chuck roast, or even, I've seen, obviously, but a lot of people don't like the ground beef, but there is recipes out there for ground beef, but those don't use any kind of beans. And I've seen it before, and I've thought about making it on seasoned iron because it doesn't look like it's going to be too hard on the seasoning. But with that being said, I recently hopped on, I think it was eBay or Etsy, and I know it's, it's Etsy. And he's actually a very popular TikToker. So if you guys have TikTok, his name is, what is his name? He's from Ohio, I think. Orphaned Iron. Oh, yeah, Orphaned Iron. He has a Dutch oven, which is the official Dutch oven for chili, like chili competition. So yeah, and it's a non-enameled piece. It's seasoned, and you can definitely make chili in seasoned iron. What I do recommend is that you do not let it sit in there for hours after you're done cooking. Once that is done, I recommend that within 20 minutes you transfer it to something else, another, whether it's an aluminum, a container, a glass container, anything else, just transfer it over. I wouldn't leave it in there, and then clean out your seasoned iron, and it'll be more than okay. And I've done a lot of tomato based recipes in my camp Dutch ovens, and I've had no effect on them. So it all depends. Let's see. Honey Badger says, if my chili is going to be on the stove all day, I use an animal. Exactly. That's what I did. My chili was there since, oh man, it was there for a long time. About 6 hours. I mean, I don't know if that's long. To me, that was a long time. 6 hours. Yeah, exactly 6 hours. So yeah, that's why I opted to go enamel with that version. And I did use a lot of tomato based. I think I used fire roasted tomatoes. I also used Rotel, and actually that was about it. But still, it's acidic enough to, for it to be simmering for that amount of time. Your food will eventually, that cast iron, the seasoning might, wear away during the cooking, and then you can have that metallic flavor leached into your food from the iron. Honey Badger says, I smash the beans mostly so my kids or people from Texas know they're in there. Yeah, a lot of Texans are offended if you put beans in that chili. And I know a lot of people are always back and forth and they're like, no, beans do not belong in chili. But for me, I've always liked beans, and that's what makes it hearty, in my opinion. And I'm sorry, guys, if I offend you. I like the beans. I also like ground beef chili as much as I like the brisket chili, and also I like the white chicken chili. I don't know if you guys have tried that one. That one's pretty good too. That one though is not as popular as standard chili in my family. HO11 I Kid 72. I don't know if I said that right. Beans and chili is the only way to go. Yes. Jimmy Langford says no beans in Texas chili. Correct. They call it Texas Red. No beans in Texas Red. I have seen those recipes, and I know that Texas Red, there are no beans. Handsome Stone says Orphan Iron has some nice stuff. Yeah, he does. He has a lot of nice stuff, and his most expensive pieces are very rare. But I mean, it's out. I'm not gonna say outrageous, but I mean, I could not afford anything that's rare that he has. I could not afford it because we're talking, in the thousands, and I don't have that kind of money to be dropping on vintage pieces. Although I would love to, I cannot. My wife would kill me. There would be no more Louis J cast iron cooking. Handsome Stone says a better, less messy alternative, cheaper too, equal parts flour, Crisco, and vegetable oil. Mix up, then brush in. I have to try that. When I used to bake, when I first started baking, my go-to was just the butter and then sifting flour on, in the pan, and then spilling over the excess flour. But that I always found it to be wasteful, so I quit doing that and I just opted to using the Pam. Let's see, what else do we have? Jimmy Langford says, I've been watching Cooking with Brenda Gant on Facebook. She uses a lot of cast iron to cook in. She loves those biscuits. Oh, I got to check her out. Let's see, what else? And I'm going back to the earlier comments you guys made. Let's see. I think I've caught up. So let's see. I'm gonna go and catch up to the chat. Honey Badger says I use V8 V8 juice as my chili base. I don't know why, but I've never liked V8 juice, and I've always have wanted to like it, but I've never liked it. Even in Bloody Marys, I'd never liked it. I could not. I don't know why. And the funny thing is too is when I was a kid, I used to go into my mother's refrigerator and grab just tomatoes and just start eating them like apples. I don't even know why. But I remember doing that as a child. Handsome Stone. Val, they are a musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. More you toot, the better you feel. Beans, beans for every meal. Isn't that a song? I like that one. Oh, Honey Badger says, Cast Iron, Mr. Cast Iron, let me know today that Orphan Iron lives like 20 minutes from me. I'll be introducing myself soon. That's awesome. By the way, Honey Badger, I appreciate the video that you posted today. Very informative. I do like informative videos. And I mean, you know, the more knowledge, the more power that we have, honestly. And who doesn't like to be smart? That's how I accumulated knowledge over, you know, cast iron. Obviously, I wasn't a pro ever, and I still don't consider myself a pro in any kind of aspect when it comes to cast iron. But I'm learning as I go, and I do this as a hobby. And the things that I have learned is from mostly from others. So, as I mentioned, thank you to everybody who has an input. I always appreciate those that are here to teach. Debbie says, biscuits are so dang easy. I made them when I was a kid. Still do. Yeah. Um, I remember the first time that I made them, I was so scared about making the mess that I made the mess, but I was so happy that I made the mess because it turned out great. And I over, not that I overworked the biscuit because I knew that you weren't supposed to, otherwise they turn out really, really bad. But I overworked my mind making sure that I followed the recipe to a T. And honestly, it isn't. It's you just bring it the you know the flour and all the ingredients together to a rough. It doesn't have to be fully incorporated. It's almost like a rough pastry, and honestly, that works the best. I found that that provides the best fluffy biscuits. So hello, oh yeah, hello Aaron. Good to. I think you are new here to the channel. Thank you for joining us tonight. For those of you that are just joining, once again, we are doing some Mexican style sweet cornbread, which uses fresh corn instead of the cornmeal or the corn flour. And it did also take a can of sweetened condensed milk, 3 eggs, a cup of flour, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 1 stick of butter, room temp, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And that's what's baking right now in my toaster oven. So yeah, and I know right now I brought out these pieces of cast iron. And oh, actually, let's just jump into that right now, guys. So, all right, guys. Cynthia Wesley, let me know what are your thoughts about this, or whoever has the knowledge. I got this, and I'm not sure because the person that sold it to me said that this was a Birmingham Stove and Range griddle. Now, I've never seen or have heard anything about a Birmingham Stove and Range griddle, but this is the underside. So, if you guys know, is this indeed a Birmingham Stove and Range, or is this possibly a Lodge? I mean, that's the only thing that comes to mind. The handle design does not remind me or does not look like anything that I've seen from BSNR. And honestly, the molder's mark here, just to me, seems like it would be a Lodge rather than a Birmingham Stove and Range. But what are your guys' thoughts? I gave it a couple coats of seasoning. It had been already restored. I just gave it a quick scrub with steel wool, and there was no rust on it. The coat of seasoning was very light, so I gave it, I think, 2 rounds so far. I haven't showcased it on the channel because I'm not ready to use it yet. But what are your guys' thoughts? Is this Birmingham Stove and Range or possibly a Lodge? We also, on this side here, we also have a Griswold that I don't think I've showcased to you guys. This Griswold was a gift from my friend on Instagram. So he's a friend that lives close by to where I'm at, and his name, well, not his name, but his name is, well, I guess his name is Mike. Um, and he does have a, he doesn't really have a shop or anything like that. He doesn't really sell online, but he does sell on Instagram. He'll post a lot of the items that he gets, and he sells not through the web or anything of that nature. You, if you follow him on Instagram, you can see a lot of his items that he has, and you can contact him through his messages, or you can give him a call. And if you're interested in any of those pieces, he'll ship them out to you. But anyway, he came over, and he was here during the summertime. We met up, and we went also cast iron hunting. I went with him. He had some other pieces he wanted to get while he was here in town, and he did give me this Griswold. This is a Griswold. I haven't used it yet on the channel. I haven't showcased it, but in great shape. Sits flat, and it does need a couple coats of seasoning. I think he only did one coat. And on Instagram, he goes by Cast Iron Mike, and I think his handle is Cast Iron Mike 33. And it is a large block Griswold, which obviously that's the more popular ones. So very excited with this. I have a good amount of griddles now. Don't know if I might do a giveaway on the griddles. If you guys would like a griddle, I guess I could give one in a giveaway. I'm more than happy to do so. I have a lot of them. So that is that. Cynthia, what do you think about the griddle? I haven't checked the chat here. Let me see. Jimmy Langford says, what is the website you keep saying they have better prices? Can you spell it out so we can understand? Etsy. So ETSY. I think that's how it's spelled. Etsy. ETSY. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, ETSY. So Etsy, they sell, there's actually, I'll be honest, I think there's a bit more knowledge on Etsy than there is on eBay. A lot of the sellers on Etsy know what they're talking about. They know about the cookware. They know, they have a lot of information, and if you have any questions, they'll respond, and they'll let you know why or how they think this is what it is. So they don't just sell because they're sellers. They're sellers because they're also collectors. They're also users. They're also people who love cast iron cookware. Another person that sells on Etsy is he's actually a cool guy. His name is Cast Iron Kev. He's on social media, which is Instagram. He's also on YouTube. I've seen him a couple times here on YouTube, but I haven't met him. But I have purchased, I think, 1 or 2 items from him. I got a nice number 8 Griswold from him. Great guy. He shipped it right away, and I even think he gave me a small discount. So, like I said, you get a bigger variety of cookware in great shape and also more knowledge. So if you guys are looking for vintage pieces, I mean, if eBay isn't necessarily a bad place to get cast iron cookware, but the people there sometimes don't know much about the cookware there, and they might not be so concerned whether there's any issues or flaws with the cookware versus Etsy. The sellers there, as I mentioned, they're collectors, they're users, and they're people with knowledge about cookware. So Etsy, ETSY. Pete L says, I didn't think BSR did raise numbers. I don't think so either, but the people that I've spoken to about this griddle, they have mentioned that it is most likely a BSNR. But I tried looking for any information. I couldn't find any online. That's why I'm reaching out to you guys. As I mentioned, I'm not a professional when it comes to all of the cast iron cookware. So BSNR is a vintage, manufacturer that I've recently started collecting. So this one, not sure if it is one of those or not. Honey Badger says, Papa is in my thoughts daily and hope for a speedy recovery. Yes, indeed. Papa Dan, we we hope that everything is okay. Dan says, thanks. When his eyes clear up tomorrow, I will look it up for him. He spent 2 days at the eye surgeons, and all the meds have made his eyes blurry today. Yeah, I know that he's been having some issues lately, a bit more than usual, but we do pray for a speedy recovery for Papa Dan. We appreciate that you're still here listening to the chat, and you are very loved here at in the community. Debbie says, my griddle is a Wagner. Jimmy Langford says, yes, it is a BSNR griddle. I have the number 9. Okay. Sure, Mama, you can go. Cynthia says BSNR. Cynthia says it's old, first generation. Okay. So then the person that sold it to me was correct. Then I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one here. To me, it looked very very similar to the Griswold. Just very minor differences. The handles look very close, and the only difference that I can see is just a little bit of the height. That's why I brought out the Griswold. I figured that this might be a Wagner, or maybe even a Lodge. That's why I considered saying that. But as I mentioned, this one also a gift from a friend, Cast Iron Mike. And if you guys want to buy anything from Cast Iron Mike, his handle is Cast Iron Mike 33 on Instagram, and I think that's technically the only platform he sells on. And you can give him a call or send him a direct message, and you can buy some of his items that he posts on his feed. But he doesn't really advertise. He's mostly local, but he does ship out. He's a great guy too. I've met up with him several times in person. All right, the last one that I wanted to showcase, guys. I know that I'm talking and talking, but the last one that I wanted to showcase was actually this one here, the National Cornbread Festival. I think from what I know, this is the first one back from 1997. The little bit of research that I did says that that's when they started doing the festival. That was the first year back in 1997, and this was the first skillet. Now, one thing that I noticed about this pan is that it's actually a modern Lodge. It's not the older 3-notch. The older 3-notch has it is a bit bigger in the diameter. So the diameter wise, it is a tad bigger. I want to say about a quarter, maybe an 1/8 inch bigger than this one here. So if you put them, if you set them on top of each other, the 3-notch Lodge is about an 1/8 bigger on throughout the rim of the cookware of the pan. So yeah, this is a modern day Lodge with no helper handle. So that's nice. And then the heat ring, even though it's a 3-notch, the heat ring, it is not similar to the actual 3-notch Lodge. As I mentioned, there are differences, and the handle has more of the modern look to it, rather than the 3-notch series. So pretty cool. I'm very happy that I finally got a cornbread skillet, and the fact that it's supposedly, from what I know, it's the first time that they did the National Cornbread Festival. I think it's pretty awesome. I gave it a couple rounds of seasoning, because it was very it had a very minimal coat. It was very almost like a reddish brown. And for a minute there, I thought it was flash rust, But I kept looking at it, and then once I gave it the initial round of my own seasoning, it did darken up quite a bit, and I figured, nope, I think it was just the lack of seasoning. And yeah, I think so far it's turned out pretty decent. It's in great shape, and I'm excited to use this. Now, what I could have done was actually bake the cornbread in this, but I'll probably bake the American style cornbread in this, which I probably will do in a short video, because my wife was asking for cornbread for with her chili, not necessarily a sweet cornbread because this one is different, the one that I'm currently baking right now. But I most likely will do some baking with this, and we'll see. Maybe I'll do a short video, but just wanted to showcase the skillet here that I just scored. Pretty awesome skillet here. Very happy. Let me know if you guys have any. And this is a 10 1/4 inch skillet, so I'm not sure if the current ones or the ones that are being that come out every year are still being the 10 1/4 are still being used, or whether they switched over to the, I think, 9 inch, because I think they're using the 9 inch version instead of the 10 1/4, but I'm not sure. I haven't been to the cornbread festival ever. I would like to go this year. I'm considering of going this year. I heard it was in April. All right, let's see the chat. Honey Badger says early Wagner round griddles were very thin for a long time. They used the Sydney Hollowware molds for a long time. Yeah, I think that's why they have a lot of similarities, right? I do have a number 9 Wagnerware griddle. That thing is heavy as can be, but man, that thing is a beast. I love every time that I use it. I just fall in love with that griddle because my pancakes they turn out as if they were professional pancakes. Like they're browned evenly, and that's something that I love. So when I do pancakes, I love using that griddle. And it's a Wagner number 9. Pete says, I pulled all the cast iron from our Scouts Troops trailer to clean it all up and found two 12-inch BSR and an 8 number, or I'm sorry, and a number 8 small block logo Griswold in there. They are like new again and ready to teach the kids about cleaning after. Awesome. That is cool. I wish that I could do something with that, like with kids, do Dutch oven cooking or things of that nature. I would like to join, Scouts. My son is actually going to go on a field trip. I think for about 2 nights we're going to be camping. So I'm thinking about perhaps I'm going to talk to the to the school and the teachers and see if I can bring along some cast iron and maybe do some baking or some cast iron cooking while we're camping.
Speaking of that,
Cynthia says she has all 3 series of the griddles. Alrighty, let's see. Cynthia says Griswold cuts the heat ring. BSR continued all the way out. Okay, yeah. That's probably why the BSNR is a bit taller than the Griswold. Debbie says that pan is cool. Cornbread skillet. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. Everybody's saying I like the sentiment of that one. Yeah, and the thing is with all these pans, they all have Lodge likes to do a lot of designs and patterns for their cookware, and that's one thing that I like about Lodge is that they don't have just plain skillets. They always have something going on underneath, and that's always something cool. And they become little collector's items in a sense where you get attached to it. Like this here, I'm super happy that I managed to get the first one that was used for the cornbread festival. because I could have gotten like a 2005, a 2007. I've seen those like, or the 10-year anniversary, the 15-year anniversary, or the 20-year anniversary, because I think they have that as well. But I'm happy that I got the first year cornbread festival skillet. Honey Badger says all the cornbread festival skillets are number fives. I went in 2002 and got one. Okay, so they don't use the 10 and a quarter anymore. That's interesting. I wonder when they changed from the 10 and a quarter down to the number fives. Jimmy Langford says to confirm the griddle, reach out to Cast Iron Cookware. Steven. Oh yeah, I actually follow him as well. Very knowledgeable on BSNR. Yeah, yeah, I follow him. I've gotten many, I've gotten a lot of information through his channel because he has featured a lot of the S series and also the what is the other one that's very popular but not very well known. Popular amongst BSNR collectors, Lady Bess. That is really hard to find, especially the porcelain handle Lady Bess versions. Those are awesome, but no way I could find anything like that, especially over here in the West Coast. Let's see, I'm in all. Yeah, Honey Badger, I understood what you meant. That all the current ones are number fives, and yeah, that's why I'm wondering when they switched from the number eights or the 10 and a quarter inch down to the number fives, which I think that's a 9 inch, if that's correct. I think, or is it an 8 inch? I think the number fives are eight, and then the number sixes are nines. All right, let me check the cornbread. We got 15 minutes to go. Oh man, I think this thing is ready. All right, let me move this over here, guys. And then put it here. Says we got 15 minutes out of those 50 minutes, but it looks like it's pretty well cooked already, but so you guys can see, I'm gonna take it out. Ooh, you can hear the sizzle. I'll be quiet as I can be so you guys can hear that sizzle. I don't know if the microphone picks it up, but anyway. Oh man, it looks like it's still jiggly in the middle. I gotta use a cake tester to see if we're good or not. No, still wet. Shoot. Does need a bit more time. So we're gonna place it back in. I just wanted to showcase it before I end the stream. I'm gonna end it pretty soon, guys. I don't want to keep you guys for a long time. As I mentioned, I'll post this on the on a live, along with the chili. That way, you guys get to see it. HO1 or HO11 I Kid 72 says probably after the first year. Yeah, I don't think that they continued the 10 here very long. I'm not sure. It's something that I do need to look into and see how many years, if any, they use the 10 and a quarter for the cornbread festival. Let's see. Cynthia Wesley says Lady Bess. Yeah, the Lady Bess. Oh man, those are awesome. I do have a Lady Bess griddle, which I need to restore. My goodness, I have a lot of stuff in my light tank. I have a Lady Bess number. I'm sorry, not number. I don't know exactly what it is, what number size it is, but it is their griddle. And my brother restored the wooden handle recently for me. I just need to clean, get all the rust uh, removed off of the griddle, and give it a couple coats of seasoning, and most likely showcase it on the channel for you guys. But as I mentioned, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we're getting close to the end of the year, Christmas, the holidays, all that stuff, and I haven't had much time. Everything right now is hectic as can be. But I am looking forward to using the Lady Best griddle that I do have. Val's Black Cats Rule says voices. I hear voices. I don't know if it's my kids. My kids are here and downstairs with me. Val's Black Cats Rule says pass them here, please. I don't care if it isn't done. I want to try that. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, it's not anything completely different. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just going to be a sweeter version of cornbread. Jimmy Langford says the BSNR Lady Best and the 2-quart and 3-quart sauce pots are very hard to find. For did Lady Best? I think I think you're talking about Lady Best, right? Because I did have a standard, not it's just a standard 2-quart BSNR, but I don't think those are rare. But I didn't know that they made the Lady Best version of those pots. That's actually pretty interesting. As I mentioned, there isn't much knowledge on the Lady Best. The only person that has really showcased anything on BSNR here on YouTube has been from the Cast Iron Cookware channel from Steven. I wish that I share these recipes with you guys. Sometimes, I would love to be able, because I even thought about it. I said, hey, do you think, I've asked my wife, do you think I could ship out like, a bread, like, or sourdough bread that I make? Can I ship it out to some of the subscribers that I know, or, that support the channel? Do you think that I can send them food? And she's told me, she said, I probably don't think that it'll be as good as if they were to have it here at the moment. And honestly, yeah, sometimes I do wish that they had smell-o-vision. That would be a pretty cool concept. But I don't know about that. Papa Dan says, or Cindy says, it's past time for Dan's eye drops. They take a while to put in, required twice a day. We will see everybody next time, Cindy. Cindy, take care. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate you guys listening and joining in the chat. And as I mentioned, prayers out to Papa Dan. Let him know that we will be praying for his recovery so that way he can get better sooner than later. So with that, as I mentioned, thank you guys, or thank you, Cindy, for joining us tonight, and Papa Dan as well. Jimmy Langford says, I remember seeing the Lady Best commercials back back on the TV in the 70s. I didn't know that they advertised those. I did hear, though, that the Lady Best skillets were more popular in the West Coast than in the other parts of the U.S. I can't remember who I heard it from, but I did hear that it was more popular here in the West Coast than than, as I mentioned, anywhere else. So not sure if that's true or not. Rick says, then invite us over. I know. Rick, you're over there in from what I know, you're out in Vegas, I think, and then also in another part of California. My man over here, Rick, he's so well off, he's got 2 homes. I'm just kidding. No, but I do know that Rick is over here in the West Coast as well. Next time that I'm out in Vegas, or next time that I'm out in South California, I will let you know so I can swing by and meet you in person, because I would love to. Cynthia says there's a guy in Tennessee shipping out vacuum sealed foods. It arrives safely, but I don't know. I don't know either. Possibly breads. Maybe I can ship a bread to you guys, since I bake a lot of bread around here. But with that, I think we still got about 20 minutes on that bread. So I think what I'm going to do is just post a short video letting you guys see how it turned out. And I'll let you guys know if it's any good. But once again, if you guys want the recipe, let me, let you guys know, or I'm going to tell you guys the recipe. So for the cornbread recipe, you're going to need either 1 can of sweet corn or 4 cobs of fresh corn. We're also going to need 1 14-ounce sweetened condensed milk, 3 eggs, 1 cup of flour or 120 grams of flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 stick of butter, room temp, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And what we're going to do is we're going to blend the corn, and we're also going to blend the condensed milk. After that, we're going to add 3 eggs, and we're going to pulse, not blend, pulse 4 times. So that'll be the wet ingredients. Then onto the dry ingredients, we're going to sift flour, and we're going to add the baking powder, the salt, and we're also going to incorporate the softened butter. After that, you mix everything together, and optional, you can add the cinnamon. If not, you can omit the cinnamon. But we're going to preheat the oven to 350 and let it go for 50 to 60 minutes. So if you guys do want to try that out, give it a go. Let me know what you guys think. And as I mentioned, I'll be posting that on the channel once it's done baking. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live. I know it's not as entertaining watching things bake. It's almost like watching paint dry, I want to say. But as I always say, I do appreciate you guys showing up. Once again, here is my little toaster oven, where I find it more convenient to do all my small baking. I like doing my banana breads in here, my cornbreads, even a loaf of bread. I've done a loaf like in the Lodge loaf pans. I've done loaves of bread like sandwich bread. I've done it here. So if you guys have never tried the toaster ovens, I do recommend it. This one's a more compact version. There are taller ones, so this one's a narrow or a shorter version. But if you guys want to try toaster ovens, I recommend them. I was not a toaster oven user, and ever since ever since my wife bought it, I've been using this thing nonstop, and I love it. So yeah, it comes in handy, especially because you can bake here and cook anything pretty much. I think I even did pizzas in this thing. Actually, I did. When I did the BSNR videos, the short videos, I did bake my pizzas in here, and it gets up pretty high, so it'll reach about 500 degrees. But with that, I will catch you guys on the next one. As I've mentioned before, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate your time. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We will catch you guys on the next one. Look forward to the next live. I think the next one will be most likely my last one for the year. And I will be doing a small giveaway. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but that'll be the last giveaway of the year as well. And Pete, I don't know if you received your stuff today, but hopefully you did, Pete. Pete was the winner of the last week's. Was it last week? Actually, but it might have been Monday's stream. I did do a stream on Monday. It wasn't actually last week. Pete was the winner for the stream on Monday. But with that, next week we'll try and do the giveaway, and will most likely be, as I said, the last stream for the year. But with that, I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. Everybody stay safe. Prayers to Papa Dan once again. And everyone take care. I will catch you guys on the next one. Look out for a short video. I'll be posting the cornbread on that along with the chili. Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys. Take care.